Hello YouTubers. Today we've got a job to do. It's a big job. Well, no, not big. It's a little job. It's about this big. We're going to add a switch to the fantastic fan that enables the fan to spin both directions. Right now, when I turn it on, it just sucks air out of the van. And that's fine. Gets all the hot air out. And if you crack a couple windows, you get a nice cross breeze and it cools the van off really quick. But when you want to take a shower and you put the shower curtain out, the tendency is for the fantastic fan, which is right over the shower area, to pull the shower curtain in. So if you're wet, the shower curtain is confining and binding you up. So by reversing the motor and having air blow in, you now get a kind of a ballooning effect to the shower curtain. It fills with air and keeps the shower curtain away from you, so it's more comfortable to take your shower. So that's what we're going to do today. I've already gotten things pretty well underway, and I'm going to show you what we're doing. So let's take the camera back and you'll see what's going on here. So the first thing is this fan and shroud are in two parts. Now mine, like many, was broken here, and hopefully we can zoom in on that and you can see the crack right there. Well, I mended that, and it should hold up pretty good. I also repainted the parts. They were starting to yellow a little bit, and I just threw a coat of paint on them. I masked the screen off and just sprayed a little Dodge white paint on it. Duplicolor was the paint I used. This corner here, where the switch goes, you can see was cracked too. And I repaired that by using a little super glue and just layering super glue in there to solidify and mend the crack around the switch. Now you can buy this shroud with a new switch in it. It runs about $57, and then just connect your wires and away you go. But I didn't want to spend $57, so I bought a switch, and then I wired the switch so that it would become a reversing switch. Now you can, on Amazon, you can buy a switch for about $17. So here is the switch I bought from Amazon. You can see the poles are X'd across here. This is the input side, and this is the connectors that attach to the motor. So that gives you an idea of how that works. And that's basically it. After getting one of those switches, I measured the opening that it would need, and with a Dremel tool I just cut out a rectangular shape for that switch to snap into, and we'll show you that later on down the line. But right now we're going to take a look at the wiring. Okay, over here there's this thermostat, and there's a temperature sensor in here. I've owned this van for a year and a half, roughly. And I've never used this. If it's hot, I turn it on. I can get up and turn it off. It's not that big of a deal. So this control, basically, I'm eliminating from the circuitry. By eliminating this, I'm not losing any functionality that I've experienced with the fan. Okay, so we got a lot of spaghetti here, but this is the way it's wired up. I will put in a wiring diagram so you don't have to follow this loony-toony spaghetti. You will see how everything comes together here in the next step. So here is a little wiring diagram of the fan connections that need to be made. Now, from the van, there's a positive black and a negative white, and that's how I marked them. So they come in, and you just disconnect basically from the switch and from this part here, because I'm not using this thermostat. So then you have to make a splice onto the black lead and run it over here to the input side of the switch. And again, you make a splice and run to the white lead and run it to the power side or the input side of the switch. Then there is also a second white lead that is connected to this thermostat that you disconnect, splice a longer wire and run it to the output side of the switch. You create a new wire and run it from the output side of the switch, which is the center posts, over to the input side of the speed control, the original switch that turned the fan off, on, and then the 3-speed positions. So you run the wire into that, and then this is an existing wire that you connect back up to the other side of this switch that goes to the motor that operates the fan. So that's essentially all there is to it. Not that hard to wire it up, and then you're set to go. I did unplug the fuse on the breaker panel. I just removed the fuse for the fan, and that essentially disconnected the fan, so I'm not going to get a shock or short circuit anything while I'm doing all this wiring configuring. And then when you're done, you can have everything off, plug the fuse back in, and turn this switch to one of the positions, this switch here to one of the positions, and then turn your normal switch on and off as usual. And when you want to reverse the polarity, then you just click through center and to the other side, and the fan will run in the opposite direction. So that's how that works. Okay, so here's everything all back together again. Looks pretty good. As you can see, the white paint kind of brightens it up a little bit, makes it look a little bit newer. Now let's test the action. If we open this up, I have the fan on, so if I open this, the fan will start. And that's good. And it's running this direction here, around this way. Now we'll stop the fan.
can see it stop, and now we're going to run it the other direction with air. I can feel the air blowing in. I can feel it. It's blowing in, and that's what we need when we're taking a shower, or when we're not all taking a shower. When I take a shower, that's what I need, is for the air to be coming in, blowing the shower curtain away from me. So I would call this a success, and that's it. We'll get a final wrap up here. So the final wrap up is this. I could have bought a complete assembly new for $60. I would have also had to buy a shroud for probably another $20. So we're talking like $80 total to create this reversing switch thing. So instead of spending that $80, I spent about 1/5 of that, or roughly $16 on a polarity reversing switch, and probably about $3 or $4 on some connectors and some wire. I bought about 3 feet each of black and white wire, and you know, a handful of connectors, maybe half a dozen of each connector, just so I'd have enough to do the job. You have a male spade and a female spade, and so twice as many females as male spades I bought, and that worked out just fine. So for about 1/4 the price, I got the job done. I always like saving money. That's $60 I can fill my gas tank up with, or $60 I can, you know, spend in other ways. So I'm always glad to save money, and I hope that helps you think about how you can save money. So if this video was helpful, please share, subscribe if you'd like to get updates and so forth on more videos in the coming days, months, weeks, etc. And as always, comment as you see fit. Thanks for watching. Till next time, see you later.